Okay, Natsu here. So this is my second try on this. Basically, since YouTube doesn't really allow me for some reason to upload. Basically, it's lagging, it's really hard to do, and in the end it just doesn't work. This is my second time trying to upload, to, well, record this one. Sorry. So this is a new what if, basically just that I'm going to do from start to finish, whenever I can, until, well, hopefully if YouTube allows me, while I try to just kind of take a pause from everything else. When this one will be over, I'm going to restart, well, continue every other ones that I was doing, so all four of the previous. So this one is what if Deku, well, no, what if My Hero Academia was a bit like One Piece. So, the way it is, sorry about this. Okay, so what if My Hero Academia was a bit like One Piece? It's not going to be like, oh, full of pirates, with the marine and stuff like that. It's more that quirks don't exist. What does exist are devil fruits. There is also haki, and basically, there's devil fruit, haki, seaprismstone, and there is still a hero course as well as villains. But in the hero course, instead of taking people with quirk, they take anyone that can use weapons, haki, knows how to fight, or has a devil fruit. Even someone who doesn't have any of those capacities or abilities, they still can enter. It's just that they train them. So there is the same kind of powers as in One Piece. So someone could use the black leg style and do like Sanji, making his foot on fire and without being hurt. Or using the tree sword style and all of the techniques. For the devil fruit, there is one thing that's really different from One Piece though. A devil fruit is not a unique object. There's not only a single Mera Mera no Mi or something like that. Every fruit has multiple, well, of it. Sorry about that. Every fruit has multiple of it. So it's not just one user of the Mera Mera no Mi like I used just before, or Gomu Gomu no Mi, or any other type. There's multiple of each. The only thing is that the more rare and powerful the fruit is, the less of them there is. The one who has the most of it in the world is the Jacket no Mi, or the Jacket fruit, which is basically one of the weakest fruit of all, because you just transform into a jacket, someone puts you on, and then you control their body and all of the power they have. Yes, in specific condition, you could become one of the most powerful being around, but the fruit is extremely weak in any other situation. Plus, when you transform into a jacket, you can't move. It's someone else who has to put you on willingly. And this fruit has around, well, no, there is exactly 10,000 of them. Since they're weak and literally the most common type of fruit. A lot of people know what they look like and basically don't eat them. Now, for haki, there's the same thing as in One Piece. Armament, um, observation, and conqueror. Conqueror is, once again, just like, well, all of haki is exactly the same. You could get armament or observation haki from training, since everyone has haki in them and could develop those two. But then there's Conqueror's haki that is a lot, well, hard because you need to be born with it. If you're not born, you cannot train to get it. Just like for One Piece, it's one in a huge number. I think it's like 100,000 or something. And most of the time, a parent can pass it down to his children. So yeah, that still stays there. Then for seaprismstone, it exists. And there are places that has a lot more of it and stuff like that. Now, for the change that basically it means in the entire world. Firstly, a lot of villains who had specific powers basically don't have those powers. Most villains are basically people who learn to use weapons or haki, or got devil fruit that were deemed not good for hero work, even though pretty much every fruit could be used for pretty good things. The only thing that I'm going to put in this series is that we know from One Piece that some powers still exist, like the ability to see the future, which was not from a devil fruit. You have in the last arc of Wano someone who can truly use ninjutsus, which basically acts like magic, so teleportation while switching with like a piece of wood or something, jumping in the air, turning kind of invisible, and other stuff like that. So I'm still going to put two different things that basically, since it is in One Piece, it's just that they're not quirks. They're basically more something that people learn to do or found secret ways of learning. And then lastly, for One for All and All for One. We know that in One Piece, the smiles exist, which are a special type of devil fruit that were created by Dr. Vegapunk. Well, the first smile was created by him, then the others were created by his name is Caesar Clown. So basically, there are special devil fruit that were created from science. And One for All and All for One are those types of fruit. Scientists were trying to replicate them to see if they could do something, and they were able to create two fruits in particular, which were the originals, which were also the best ones. The first one was the All for One fruit, which allowed the user to steal the devil fruit powers from someone else, the techniques and ways of using abilities or weapons of people, from them, as well as stealing the haki of people, plus their strength, speed, and everything. Basically leaving them a simple human, as if he never trained in their life. This is the power of All for One. He can steal everything from someone and basically become more powerful with it. He can also give some of those to other people. Since he can steal devil fruit abilities as well, making someone who ate a devil fruit back into a normal person who can now swim once again. Basically think of the Yami Yami no Mi, or Yomi Yomi no Mi. Blackbeard's devil fruit, basically, in the dark fruit. He can make someone unable to use their devil fruit by touching them. Basically, they took that concept and turned it to basically make it so that it can steal something. The problem is, they went a bit too far and made a fruit that could steal everything from someone, as well as then giving it back to someone else. Now we go to One for All fruit, which is basically exactly like the original fruit. Well, original quirk. The All for One fruit, One for All fruit, basically allows you to stockpile power and give the power away to other people, accumulating their power and able to give it to someone else. Basically, the All for One fruit was the first type, able to steal anything. And the second creation, before they destroyed destroyed the only everyone who knew how to create them, basically erasing it from their memories, as well as basically erasing all trace of how they made it, so every other fruit created afterward were basically wrong, and basically made smiles like in the One Piece anime. So basically it allows the power to be passed down as well as accumulate power, but just like in the anime, which can accumulate a quirk inside of it, this one can actually accumulate the powers of devil fruit inside of it. It can also not be stolen, and anyone who basically got the power given to them cannot have their quirk, well, not quirk, but devil fruit abilities and everything else stolen from them. If you give the power away, once it completely goes away from your body, then yeah, you can once again be stolen from. But normally that shouldn't be a problem at that point. So, just like in the anime, Deku will be the 9th user, and stuff will happen, and I'm basically going to explain it. Which also means that the quirks, well, the powers he's going to get from the other users, will have to be different. Now, other change will be in this, but those I'm going to explain them later because, well, they won't come in until later. So, Deku will be still our main protagonist and have multiple things to him. So let's start. He's born a normal kid like everyone else. In this world, when kids are young, they basically try to see, well, not really them, but most parents or tutors or whoever is in charge of them tries to basically tell them to try and choose a career path. Or, well, not really a career path, since mostly everyone wants to be a hero, but a way of fighting. A fighting style that's, to them, basically perfect for who they want to be and what they want to do. So, most kids basically learn to fight from a really young age, as well as train. Compared to One Piece, a lot of people actually have training under them, because they were basically taught to do that. Train. Deku, basically what he decided to do at first was that he wanted to be both a swordsman but also a melee fighter, but he didn't know what to use in that way. Bakugo wanted to be a melee fighter who wanted to mostly use his fist. So at first he was doing that, until he was 4 and went to the forest and found a devil fruit. The bomb fruit. So basically giving him his abilities from the show, but upgraded to massive amounts. Resisting all explosions and able to create them from anything from his body. So when he came back with that ability, everyone was really amazed by him, and they thought he was the best. Deku really wanted to find the devil fruit himself, since he knew that All Might had one, and that almost every hero had capacities that were like that, or that basically were different, magic-like, using haki or using fighting style. Since he still wanted to use his sword or melee, he tried to make his own fighting style, which both of them are going to be from the anime itself, which is 3 sword style. Well, no sword style, 1 sword style, 2 sword style, and 3 sword style from Zoro. As well as Blackleg, which is basically kicking, and that's basically it, from Sanji. With all of the abilities like Skywalk, Blue Walk, Diablo Jambe from Sanji, and from Zoro, everything. There's way too much attack from him, but most of them are freaking awesome, so yeah. There's Dragon Twister, 180-pound Phoenix, 1080-pound Phoenix. There's Tigers. Wait. Shit. Okay, yeah. Basically, almost everything he has are with the name of an animal or stuff like that. But yeah, basically, Deku will try to do that. The reason for Blackleg is that he saw a hero that basically was just doing that. His thing was kicking. Also punching, so he wasn't just using kicks and stuff, but he was still a pretty good fighter with his legs. He was using haki most of the time to basically be able to harm other people who use devil fruits, but he was pretty good. For the swords abilities, well, the three-sword style, he's someone who basically used it was a hero who always had three swords, but it's basically because each sword he had, he used them for different abilities, well, for different techniques. Because, once again, just like in One Piece, there are the swords rank. And this hero had one of the highest rank, one of the second highest rank, and one of the third highest rank. Well, first, second, and third grade. And basically, when he fought against people who were way weaker than him, he used the third grade sword. Which I don't remember the names right now, and I didn't write them down. But basically, he has one of all three, and thanks to that, he can basically train a huge amount. Like, fucking hell. Sorry about that. Okay, so basically, the guy only used one at the time, but he didn't really huh. Okay, that's something I didn't know about the game. Okay, yeah, sorry. So Deku literally just started training with those. For his training with the sword, Deku basically taught himself how to use every single he tried to use different things to do it, but at first, because he didn't know at all how to do them, he kind of just tried to go at it. Since it almost never worked, he started training a lot more using weights and basically doing like Zoro, using something in his mouth and basically training to have a sword in his mouth. At first he was only using wooden swords, basically to not harm other people or himself. When Bakugo finally decided to try and fight Deku because basically his fighting styles looked weak and completely useless, Deku went with it and used the wooden sword to try and harm Bakugo. Bakugo and Deku fought many times, and everyone was amazed because in about Bakugo ate his fruit at when he was 4, basically, and to have the same amount of wow, it's awesome, basically giving him the same background, I should say, of him thinking he's the best, even though it's a pretty mediocre fruit if used by the wrong person. If used by the right person, like Bakugo in this case, the fruit can be really amazing. And he's going to prove that. But basically, over the next years, they fought almost 3 times every day, and by the end, Deku had 2 victories over Bakugo. Wait, no. Every day they had multiple battles a day, but not always more than one. Basically, Deku has 432 wins, and Bakugo has 430 wins. And then there's about 80 draw. So basically, Deku won 2 more times than Bakugo, even though Bakugo has a devil fruit. The reason Bakugo was able to be defeated was not because he wasn't using his fruit correctly. Actually, it was the entire opposite. It was because over the fighting, Deku was always getting stronger. And with every fight, he saw how his fighting style could improve. Trying to make different moves. Not to the point of the same move as Zoro, like Dragon Twister or stuff like that. He's nowhere near the amount of strength yet. But he is to a point of having enough strength to still do a little wind blade when he moves around. He doesn't know haki yet, but he knows it exists. Actually, almost everyone knows. So he's still trying to train for that. Thanks to all of those fights, though, Bakugo and Deku were able to be pretty good friends, and Bakugo lost his way of thinking that he was the best. It also pushed Bakugo to think that he was actually a lot weaker than he thought, and that he needed more training. So both him and Deku basically trained constantly. Deku training to use kicks and stuff, as well as his swords. Now we do a time skip to when Deku and Bakugo are 10. Around that time, Deku and Bakugo, over the last, 5 or so years, basically trained mostly alone or together, but without really using a teacher to teach them about their own powers or capacities. Because most of the time they were basically using capacities or ways of fighting that were unique to them. The three sword style and the black leg style that Deku created were unique to him, so no one could actually try to teach him how to use it better. Someone could teach him to use swords better though. But for now, until he was 10, he basically didn't want to do that. Just like for Bakugo, he tried to use explosions in his own way, and basically taught himself how to do many, many things. But once they were 10, something happened. They were told that if they want to be stronger, they'll have to train a lot more. They were told that while they went on a field trip. Basically, they just went to a park or something, and not really a park, it's more a place where they were there to learn, not to have fun mostly. So basically people attacked there, and both of them basically were in front of an enemy, one of the bad guys. Deku didn't really know how to react, and basically tried to attack, since, it's kind of the only thing he could do. So, Deku and Bakugo both tried to fight at once, to at least hope, and I really mean hope, to beat him. The problem is that what happened instead was that they were able to hold him back, but they were still beaten until a hero arrived. The hero told them they were still able to do a lot by themselves, but that they were way too weak. Most heroes, even the lower ones, could have beaten them easily. Then the hero told them that if they want to train their abilities, there was someone he knew who could teach them. Basically as a favor, if you will. He gave both of them papers and told them that if they go to that address, someone would basically help them. So they started going to that place to train. The person there was someone that was in the army a while ago. He was an old man. He had a devil fruit, and it is one that's pretty powerful, actually. And we saw it in the anime One Piece. Actually, we saw it in CP9. The fruit is the wolf fruit, a carnivorous zoan. The guy had that for one of those, since there are many of them. Actually, just in the what if we're going to see multiple people using the same exact fruit at the same time. But still, this guy basically asked them who they were, and if they paid. Both of them gave the paper, and the man told them, so you want to learn haki, eh? Well, tell me, do you know the bases? Or are you able to use it, at least? Which both of them told him no. Which he didn't look bothered. He actually smiled and started laughing, saying that if his friend told him to come here even though they didn't know haki, they must be really good. So he turned into his hybrid form and told them to attack, using any way they want. So Deku took out his, wooden swords, since he doesn't have real ones yet. When the man saw that, he basically laughed his ass off and said, so, you're a swordsman and you don't even have real swords yet. So Deku told him that it's not really that he doesn't want to, it's more that his mom doesn't have the money to buy him swords, mostly for his fighting style. Which, once again, the man laughs, saying to him, yeah, you know what? Come with me. I have something to show you. So he brings Deku in the back and basically shows him a huge amount of swords in barrels. He told Deku to pick 3. He didn't care which one. But the moment he touches one, he cannot choose another one. Bakugo told him to choose carefully, which Deku looked around and basically started looking at every swords without touching any of them. Then he saw one in particular, and all he was able to do was approach his hand. For some reason, it was like it was calling him. So Deku grabbed it. The man asked him, why did you choose that one? With Deku just saying, I don't know. It just felt right. Which the man then grinned a bit, not in a good way. He was basically saying, I think you would prefer another one. With Bakugo asking why, you said you could choose he could choose any of them. Which the man then says, yeah, but this one's different. With Deku asking, is it one of the cursed swords? With the man basically saying, how do you know? With Deku saying, it was just a question. The face you made when I grabbed it. It was as if you were scared. Which the man said, well, that's because I am. The cursed blades are extremely dangerous, and someone who doesn't know how to use them could kill them. Deku then asked if he could still take it, which the man said, sorry about that. Okay, so I think I was saying Deku asked if he could still keep the sword. The man said reluctantly that he could, but if anything happened to him, it wasn't his fault. Deku then said thank you, and basically went and grabbed two more. One felt a lot heavier when he grabbed it than the other ones. Well, the first one he took after the cursed one was basically just an old sword that felt pretty well, that had a lot of weight to it, but was one of the normal swords. So not a graded sword compared to the cursed one that he just took. Then he took another one, which was actually a third grade sword, just like the cursed one. No, I'm not going to give them those blades names, because, well, yeah, no, it's pretty hard already just to do this for me, without kind of, well, the Japanese names or any other things like that are pretty hard for me to say, so that's why I'm not doing that. But yeah, so Deku basically grabbed grabbed those swords and was ready to leave, but the man told him, look, the cursed blade you took, I'm going to let you keep it, but promise me you won't use it here. Take another one and basically make sure not to curse yourself. Which Deku basically accepted to take a fourth one, and after that basically went and put the cursed one in, well, with his bag. So the man was basically a lot calmer, not fighting against a cursed blade. So after that, they went to see how they could fight against him. And they went straight at it. Bakugo using the explosions. And pretty well as that. Why do I have so much trouble talking right now? Okay. Deku was able to fight against him pretty well with his blades, which were basically real blades now. The man was using haki to basically block and parry, but didn't attack at first. Bakugo was helping, using his explosions to fight, and proving to the man that both of them were pretty good and pretty strong for kids. He then told them that now he's going to show them what haki can do. Both of them basically got scared a bit, and the man showed them that, yeah, you need to be. He knocked them out without even touching them. What he did was use Conqueror's haki. The problem was that when he used it, he was sure that both of them would fall instantly. But a surprise waited for him. Both of them were still able to stand after he used it. It just took a while to work, which basically showed him that, okay, yeah, both of them have the capacity to have the capacity to learn it. Conqueror's haki. Which made him think that those two will be good. The moment it was over, and that they woke up, about 10 minutes later, he told them that he would train them. He wanted them to learn how to use haki, as well as increase their strength. Once they're going to have learned haki, sorry about that, he looked at Deku and said, once you've learned how to use haki, I'm going to let you train with your cursed sword. Until then, don't use it. Or at least don't use it while you're here. So, Deku basically accepted that and got ready. For the next 2 years, so until they're 12, both of them trained in haki, conquerors, armament, and observation. But what they did was mostly strength training. He only taught them the basics, so they are able to use a pretty good amount of that. And both of them can actually fight almost on equal terms. Bakugo can use his explosions in so many different ways that are almost uncanny. The old man thought that if those two boys were to truly be heroes, they could be some of the best. If they truly went at it, they could even beat All Might. All together, that is. But they need more training. He is nowhere near All Might's level, but they are close to his power. Which means a lot, to be honest. After the 2 years, he told them that his debt was paid. If they wanted to continue, they will have to pay to keep training. Which both of them said that it was okay, but that they're still thankful that he actually let them train here. The man then went back in the place with swords and came back outside to Deku, asking him for the 2 weakest blade he had, telling him that he should keep the cursed sword, the 2 third grade swords, so the cursed sword and the other one, and basically gave him a 2nd grade sword, saying to him that this sword was extremely special. It isn't cursed, but it's pretty powerful, and an old friend of his was using it. He got killed by a bad guy, but he sees Deku as having the potential to use it, which made Deku accept it and basically keep it to train. So now Deku has pretty powerful swords right off the bat, but here's the problem. Deku does have pretty powerful swords in itself, but still if he fought against a hero, yes, he could beat many of them, but any good hero who truly trained a lot would actually still be able to beat him if they were able to use haki or other things to basically block his sword, or that had the speed to move around them. So, yes, Deku is extremely powerful, but he's not at the most powerful he could ever be. So he was told to keep training, as well as Bakugo. Both of them basically decided to keep doing that, and now I'm going to end it here. Deku has powerful swords. He knows Blackleg and can he can do the Diablo Jambe. The only problem is that it's mostly thanks to the training he did with the old man. But he's nowhere near the level of a hero. Actually, I would put him around. Actually, everyone in this world has a huge amount of power over what the My Hero Academia world is. Like, some of the weakest heroes around. Well, think of Marines. Every Marine that can actually use haki are pretty freaking powerful and could beat on a lot of pirates. Actually, almost every pirate from I think it's East Blue or something like that. Basically, the first place that they were at. Most marine who can use haki could beat any and every pirate from that place. So, some of the weakest heroes are basically that level. A lot of kids by this point, because power gets stronger with every generation, people that get trained, people can get stronger. Multiple adolescents and kids are stronger than some of the heroes, who basically only do small jobs. But the big heroes are still far off from them. So, yes, they are powerful, but not too powerful. That's the point. Not for this world. Actually, Todoroki would still be over their strength right now. That's how much it is. So, yeah. Holy frick. Okay, so, yeah, Natsu, out.